I like that.
It's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that shirt was designed by our own Caitlin Nielsen and appeared up front in the picture. This is not just us teachers giving you a bunch of boring information. This is you guys talking amongst yourselves. This is for you, okay? Who has written something on their back that shows how awesome they are? Who's got a new shirt thing? Okay, Isaiah Padilla, stand up for me. Do you have a pink shirt on? Okay, who's got this year's pink shirt on that has how they're awesome? Okay, hold on, let's do that. Okay. Hers says stuffed animal therapist, good friend, caring, and a choreographer. I'm going to ask her to dance. Our theme for this year is defining yourself. Well, we can tell you what not to do, how to be nice, and how to stand up for yourself. The thing that it starts with is your own self-esteem. Making sure that you know that each and every one of you is awesome. So before I go any further, let's start with the video brought to you by Keepwell.
Much sauce, such sauce.
Hi guys, and welcome to the 3rd Annual Anti-Bullying Day Assembly. Who's excited to be here? Woo! So, a couple weeks ago, I was with a group of really young kids, like first graders and kindergartners, and we were playing a game. And for that game, we had a whole entire deck of cards, and we assigned each kid a type of card. So one kid was aces, one kid was twos, one kid was threes, so on and so forth. And we put the deck of cards on the floor, and we shuffled them up, and we told each kid, find for the 4 cards that we told you to find. And so, what do you think happened? They stood in a circle, and they reached for the cards, and they tried to grab the cards and get them as fast as they possibly could. But there was one kid that was not standing and trying to find the cards. And when all of the kids finished getting their cards, that kid walked over, picked up the last 4 remaining cards, because those were the only 4 cards left. Those were his cards, and he brought them over and stood by the side. That is strategy. That is the strategy to know when to act. So then we gathered all the kids up and we said, we're going to play this one more time. But first, we want to tell you what this kid did. This kid stood outside and waited for all of the other cards to get picked up before he picked up his own cards. So now, all the kids stood in a circle, and we said, okay, find your cards, and then when you get your cards, stand out. And they stood there. And they stood there, and they looked at each other, and they were trying to see who would make the first move. Who would be the first one to go grab the cards, because they were going to be the smart kid that time that stayed out and waited. And they waited, and they waited. And they realized that nothing was going to get done. And that there needs to be a balance between being the person that's strategic and has that strategy to being the person who has to make the first move. Because if nobody makes the first move, it doesn't matter if you have a strategy because nothing's going to get done. So we're here in this anti-bullying day assembly to combat bullying. What does it mean to be nonviolent? Who can tell me? Anybody? Jake.
Pacifist.
To me, what is that? Can you help define for? Does anybody know what being a pacifist means? It might be a good word for 8th graders.
I got you.
Being a pacifist means fighting, but through non-violent ways, like Martin Luther King did, like standout sit-ins, not using violence, but fighting in a peaceful way.
To be nonviolent, you have to understand the anger that you have, right? So anger is like gasoline. Gasoline, if you throw it on a fire, it can be disastrous, but if you put the gasoline in something like a car, it can give you real power. And being able to do that is to know how to use that gasoline, that anger that you have. Because if you've ever been in an argument, you know that yelling is really ineffective. And you have to have the wisdom to take action and to channel that anger into something good. So let's talk about some people who were able to do that.
You guys are talking about Benoit.
Who knows who Martin Luther King is? Can somebody tell me a little bit about Martin Luther King? Okay. Who wants to raise their hand and tell me a little bit about Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King was an African-American activist for African-American civil rights.
So that's exactly that. He was most known for his nonviolence, which I think he said, and his activism through his nonviolent ways through civil rights. Who knows who Anne Frank is?
She was a Jewish girl during the Holocaust, and she was trying not to get killed.
Exactly that. She was known for the diary that she wrote during the Holocaust. And who knows, this is kind of a more one that you guys might not know. Who knows who Harvey Milk was? Anybody? Without talking to your neighbor.
He was for gay rights and same law.
Matthew Shepard was? Anybody? Okay. Matthew Shepard was an openly gay college student in Wyoming. Who knows who James Byrd Jr. was? He was a man living in Jasper, Texas. Does anybody know what all of those people that I just mentioned have in common? You said they're all important? Yes, but also not.
Nice camera.
They're all human.
Yes, which leads into something. She said they're all discriminated against. But the answer that I was looking for was they were all killed for who they were. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. Anne Frank was killed during the Holocaust. Harvey Milk was assassinated. Matthew Shepard was the openly gay college student in Wyoming that I told you about, who was just at a bar one day and the students decided to take him, tie him to a fence, and beat him to death. And James Byrd Jr. was a man in Jasper, Texas, who was lynched and who was dragged by a car for miles on end. And Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. actually, there's a act, the Hate Crimes Prevention Act that was made because of them and because of the horrible acts that happened to them. So now I'm going to show you guys a video that has to do with the hatred.
I love this song. I love you
Basically, it was just kind of like if those people were never killed, this is what they would probably be doing right now.
Exactly that. Imagine a world in which these people were never killed because of what they believed in. And that, even though it's more extreme than, last year how we just talked about how bullying affects you as an individual in school, bullying is way more than that. Bullying is the hatred that comes from it. And it leads to this kind of hatred that killed all of the people that we mentioned here today, plus more.
All right, that was kind of depressing, so we're going to try to lighten things up. Every year we talk about all the bad things that happen and what would happen if these people were still around and how to stand up and stop the hate. Rather than sitting there and talking about how to stop the hate, let's build the love, okay? Let's build friendships. Let's make the environment positive. And positive is not just stopping the negative. In this world, there are always going to be people who hate the people that stand up for themselves. There's always going to be bullies. There's always going to be jerks. Okay? But the way to fight that is not always necessarily just to say stop. That's a good first start. But another way is to say, hey, you. Instead of saying, don't do that, tell somebody else, thank you for doing that. And you guys can do this every day. Who would like this school to be completely positive every day? Come on, let me hear your hands. Who would like to feel good about coming to school every day? Who would like to feel welcome in every class every day? All right. You can do that. You can help each other every day in every class. Okay, hold on for a second. What I'm going to ask you guys to do right now, when I say go, I want you to look around. Don't wait till I say go. You're going to find somebody that you have not spoken to today. Do not get up and move around. Somebody within, say, arm's length of you. Somebody that you have not spoken to today, and give them a compliment. If it's something as nice as, I like that you wrote in your shirt, or thank you for answering that question. Go ahead, go. Say so, but if you have your backpack, or maybe it's even in your pocket, I want you to pull out a pen or marker when I say go. When I say go, you're going to pull out a pen or marker. If you do not have a pen or marker or something to write on someone's shirt with, please raise your hand and we'll be passing out those in the back. Okay, go. If I want you to look around for a person that's in a pink shirt, okay? When I say go, stay sitting for now. When I say go, just walk up to this person and ask if you can write a compliment, something nice on your shirt. Please do this only. I want you to write a compliment and then sit down. If you borrowed a marker, as soon as you've done writing a compliment, please raise your hand so one of our volunteers can come around and pick it up so that somebody else can use it. Okay, write a compliment. If you want to give a compliment to a person that's not wearing a pink shirt, that's completely fine, but don't write on their uniform shirt like that. Tell me the best compliment that you got today. And raise your hand, please. I like your eyebrows. I like that one. You're off the floor. Very nice. Okay, yes. Beautiful. Should I say somebody picks on another person, if you also give that person a compliment, you've completely negated what the church said. You can be the positive influence that completely negates the hate, that builds the love, that builds the friendship, that makes it a positive environment. Okay. Take it to, in each class, find one person. Say, hey, thanks for helping my homework. Thank you for answering that question so I didn't look like a fool when the teacher called my name. Thank you for sharing your lunch. I like your backpack. I like your glasses. I like